During a near-death experience, I had a vision that could change the course of American and world history. I saw who will win the next presidential election and where it will lead us, whether towards peace or war. What I discovered is shocking and enlightening, revealing the true nature of the forces at play in today's politics. If you believe in a future of hope, comment with Amen and subscribe to stay updated. My alarm went off at 5 in the morning, emitting an annoying buzz that echoed in the quiet of my apartment. That day, I had a surgery that I had been putting off for too long. I looked in the mirror, trying to convince myself that everything would be fine. I was ready to leave that persistent pain behind and start a new phase of my life. I arrived at the hospital before dawn. The air was cold, and the sky was a deep blue that was slowly starting to lighten. I checked in at reception and was taken to a room where they prepared me for the surgery. I was nervous, but tried to stay calm, repeating to myself that it was a routine procedure. As I waited, my thoughts wandered through recent events in my life. I had buried myself in work, trying to forget the turmoil of the outside world. The upcoming presidential election dominated conversations everywhere, and the country seemed more divided than ever. There was tension in the air, and part of me feared what might happen if things didn't go the right way. Before I knew it, I was taken to the operating room. The pungent smell of disinfectant filled my nostrils as they settled me onto the surgical table. The lights were blinding, and the last thing I saw before the anesthesia took over was the reassuring face of the nurse who told me everything would be fine. I woke up in a place I had never seen before. It wasn't the hospital, yet I didn't feel scared. There was a palpable serenity in the air, and the colors around me were vivid and bright, as if the world itself had been painted with strokes of light. I began to walk along a path that wound through a green meadow. As I moved forward, a figure appeared in the distance. He seemed like an old man, but emanated an intense, almost magnetic energy. I approached him with a feeling of curiosity mixed with an inexplicable familiarity. When I was close enough, his gaze rested on me with a depth that made me feel as if he had known me forever. "Isabel," he said in a warm and reassuring voice, "welcome. I've been waiting for you to arrive." "Who are you?" I asked, trying to understand what was happening. "I am called by many names, but you can think of me as a guide," he replied with an enigmatic smile. "You are here to see the future and understand what your heart already knows." We continued to walk together, and as we did, the landscape around us began to change. We found ourselves in a large city, full of life and movement. People walked quickly, each absorbed in their world, but there was a sense of urgency in the air. "This year's election will be a turning point," my guide said, showing me the way. "Many think they know who will win, but the truth is hidden behind deceptive appearances." My heart skipped a beat. It was true. The candidate considered the favorite was a man with brusque and direct manners, often accused of being ruthless and insensitive. However, deep in my heart, I had always sensed that there was more behind his mask of hardness. "He is a man who will change the course of history," the guide continued, "not through war, as many fear, but through peace. He will be a leader capable of conducting negotiations that seem impossible and of avoiding conflicts that could have devastated the world." I looked at the man next to me, trying to grasp the importance of his words. "But how can this be?" I asked. "Everyone seems so sure that he is evil incarnate." "The real threat," he said gravely, "is hidden in those who present themselves as angels of peace, but work in the shadows for their gain. Not everything is as it seems, Isabel, and your intuitions will guide you." We walked through various scenarios, each revealing a piece of the future that awaited our world. I saw images of cities celebrating, people embracing as the election results were announced. The victory of the man the world feared was met with astonishment and relief. His actions, the guide explained, will lead to fundamental change. His leadership will be crucial in avoiding a war that could have upset the global balance. He will not be perfect, but his heart is pure in intentions. At that moment, I felt a deep gratitude. Despite appearances, there was hope. The world had the chance to change for the better, and it all depended on people's ability to see beyond masks and listen to the voice of their intuition. "We are always at the crossroads of possibilities," said the guide as the landscape around us began to dissolve. "Remember, Isabel, that light is always present, even when everything seems shrouded in darkness. Have faith in the future and in the power you have to contribute to change." I woke up in my hospital room with the sound of the monitor ticking regularly beside me. The nurse's eyes were kind as she checked on me, and I realized I was alive, with a renewed sense of purpose. However, I felt strange, as if a part of me had remained in that magical place, and as I looked at the nurse, the words formed on my lips. Where was I? What happened to me? I asked in a hoarse voice. "Welcome back, Isabel," said the nurse, with a reassuring smile. "We had a little scare. Your heart stopped for a short time during the surgery, but we managed to bring you back. You were clinically dead for a few minutes." The gravity of her words hit me hard. I had died, even if only for a brief moment, and I had seen a world beyond ours. I tried to tell her about my experience, hoping to share the incredible journey I had taken. "I saw something," I began. "A place. A man showed me the future. I saw who will win the election, how the world will change." The nurse listened kindly, but in her eyes I saw a shadow of doubt. "Sometimes anesthesia can cause very vivid dreams," she said, trying to comfort me. "Don't worry too much. The important thing is that you are well now." I did not insist further, understanding that what I had seen could not be comprehended with the logic of the real world. However, deep in my heart, I knew it was real. The experience was too vivid, too concrete to be dismissed as a simple dream. I had seen the truth, and I felt the urgency to share it. Despite the medical staff's perplexity, my experience had changed me. I had a story to tell, a vision of hope to share. I decided to write it all down, to document every detail, and to spread the message through a channel that could reach the whole world. As the sun set, the sky was tinged with shades of gold and orange, a reminder that every day brings the opportunity to start anew. The elections were still uncertain, but one thing was clear: hope never dies. And so, while the world awaited the verdict of the polls, I knew deep down that, regardless of who would win, our ability to choose the light was what truly mattered. With this thought, I began to write, hoping that my words could inspire others to see beyond appearances and believe in the power of change. Now, as promised, we have had the fortune to ask Isabel some questions. Did you have the feeling that the future president was a controversial figure? Absolutely yes. The figure I perceived seemed surrounded by an aura of controversy, as if misunderstood by most people. But what I clearly understood is that his intentions are genuine and aimed at the common good, even if many may not see it immediately. Did you receive any indications of how the new president will lead the country towards peace? Yes. During my experience, I had the strong feeling that the new president will be capable of negotiating with great skill and determination. Instead of resorting to war, he will use dialogue to resolve conflicts that seem insurmountable, showing an extraordinary ability to build bridges. Did you see who the real antagonists threatening peace are? Yes, I sense that the real antagonists are not those who appear to be so. Many hide behind an appearance of goodness and calmness, but work in the shadows for their interests. The greatest challenge will be to unmask these forces and recognize the true ally in the new president. As I close the account of this extraordinary experience, I invite you to reflect on what I have shared. I had the rare opportunity to glimpse a future that could transform our world, a future in which an unexpected leader guides with wisdom and strength towards peace. This vision inspired me to believe in the potential for positive change that resides in each of us. I invite you to comment with an amen if you share the hope for a better tomorrow, where differences can be overcome and peace can truly prevail. We are all part of a common journey, and each of us has the power to contribute to creating a more just and peaceful world. Let our actions be guided by love and understanding, knowing that every small gesture can make a difference. I conclude with a prayer of hope that what I have seen comes true, and that we can live in a world where peace is not just a dream, but a tangible reality for all. May we find the strength to fight for good, and may our voices unite to build a bright and promising future. Thank you for sharing this journey with me. Together, we can make a difference. For this reason, I invite you to watch the next video on my channel. God bless America.